Hey YouTube, this is DSpaz Gaming, and today I'm going to be doing a review of the Nintendo 3DS. Now, as opposed to my other reviews where I went through like a tour of the system during the review itself, this time I'm just going to be doing a structured review, just telling the pros and cons of the system, what I like, dislike, that sort of thing. So, yeah, here it is. Now the 3DS obviously has two screens, DS double screen. The top being an 800 by 400 resolution 3D display. And in 3D it shows 400 pixels and 200 pixels to each eye. In 2D it's 800 by 240 I believe. On the bottom screen is a 320 by 240 resolution screen. As you can see close up. The colors are nice. It's a touch screen. The bottom's a touch screen. It's not focusing. There we go. See, it's a touch screen. The top screen is not touch screen. You can't do anything. Left and right. Takes pictures. Changes you to camera. Now, what I like is the simplicity of this UI. You know where everything is. You know what's what does what. As you can see, home menu, music. It's basically like a smaller version of the iPhone, kind of. You have all these icons. You have folders, which is a relatively new update. As you can see, if you want to put an app in a folder, you just drag it and put it in. Simple. You want to take it out, just drag, pull it out. No. Yeah, you get the picture. Another good thing about the system is the graphics. Now, I'm loading into a game of Dead or Alive Dimensions, and as you can see it's running at 60 FPS, and it looks pretty good. Pretty bad trying to play through the viewfinder on this camera, bear with me. As you can see, everything looks pretty good, and it looks almost on par with Dead or Alive 4, its Xbox counterpart. As you can hear, the voices are pretty bad, but this game is actually really fun. So, yeah, the graphics are a good plus. Another good thing about the system is the memory. Now, as you can see, there's a volume rocker on this side and a slot here where you can put an SD card to expand the memory in the system to up to, say, 32 gigabytes, I think, because that's the biggest they make these. They might make them bigger now, but I don't know. I have an 8 gig card in there right now. And as opposed to Sony's portable, the PS Vita, which uses really expensive memory, this is much more affordable and easily expanded. In the settings, you can copy apps, trailers, games to the SD card, depending on what it is. Some of them you have to keep it on the system memory, but you know, that's not mandatory. Another nice thing that previous DS iterations did not have is the ability to download demos. Now, unlike conventional demos, Nintendo has put a use limit on these, so you can only use them a certain amount of time. Some of them most of them are default use limits are like 30 or something. Some of them are 10. As you can see, I've used this one twice. I haven't used this one at all yet. But yeah, these demos are 3D. Now I'll start one up just for the heck of it, show you how it is. As you can see, it's loading up. This is Rayman Origins, a game that was first released in the PS3 and 360, then ported to the Vita and this system. As you can see, while you're in a game, you can just hit the home button, and you have seamless multitasking. That's another good thing about this system, the multitasking. Well, I suppose you consider it a good or a bad thing. Not everything supports multitasking. However, these 4 icons, you hit them, and you can multitask. See your friends list. You can see. It's pretty nice. Game Notes, another app you can use. Basically lets you take notes of the game you're playing. Shows both screens up there. Just, you know, draw whatever you want. You get the point. You have notifications, as you can see. Scroll, it moves up to the top. Unread, I have no unread notifications right now. Notifications pop up like if you have updates or if you got a message or something via a swap note. And the web browser. Now the 3DS is nice because it allows you to browse the web and play games at the same time. So say you're stuck on a level, you can just, you know, assuming you don't have a computer or something and happen to have internet and Wi-Fi, you can use this to conveniently go on a website and find your answers. If you do, however, try to use an app that does not support multitasking like the eShop, it will say close suspended software, which in this case is that demo, and you will open that app. Obviously, the defining feature of this system is 3D. Therefore, they give you two 0.3 megapixel cameras up front to take 3D photos with. Now, there's an extra camera in the inside which lets you take self pictures, and that makes a total of 3 cameras on the system. Now, if you go to the camera app, you can either hit the LR or just go on the camera app. The camera app has more features, obviously, since it's a dedicated camera app. I forgot to mention that the LR camera app can be used while you're in a game, so no need to exit out and use the dedicated camera app. As you can see, if you slide the 3D slider up, obviously this camera can't see 3D, but right now the picture will be in 3D if I so took it, like that. And as you can see in your gallery, we have now taken a 3D picture. You can graffiti on it with that button. It has some cool 3D effects, like you can make it pop out at you in 3D, make it sink in. Yeah, all sorts of random crap to vandalize your pictures. After the 3D, probably the most notable difference between the 3DS and the DS would be the circle pad. Now this circle pad allows for more precise controls versus the D-pad, and is used for like games like Resident Evil Revelations or other shooters where you need a little more precise control. Would have been nice to have a second circle pad, but generally using the touchscreen to look around or these buttons suffices. Another gimmick that it comes with, which is, you know, fun for the 5 seconds you find it amusing, are augmented reality games. Now, these cards are for taking 3D pictures of like diorama shots, I guess. You can put this down, use a 3D camera, and Link or Samus, Pikmin, or Kirby will just come up and like be in the scene. This is for those aforementioned AR games. Now, if you enter the AR Games app, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Now, as I aim at the AR card, it's tracking it. 14 inches. 12. Great. Okay, cool. It will magically transform my carpet into a gaming zone, I suppose. Here's where I choose my game, archery. As you can see, it's this little weird creepy boxing and transforming environment has been superimposed into my basement, and now I can play games in my environment, which, like I said, is fun for just about the 5 seconds where you find it amusing. Now, the 3D on this system is glasses free, and you have to be at a very, very specific sweet spot to get the 3D effect. Otherwise, the effect will just double, like as you can see on the camera. But I'll go into more of that later. But yeah, this is AR games, and it's one of the unique features of the 3DS. Well, is it unique? No, I think the Vita has AR too. But before the Vita came out, it was unique, and no one used it. Now the 3DS has a feature called Street Pass, which lets you just, walk around, and if you pass another user with their 3DS with the lid closed, you will basically swap Miis. And I'm pretty sure if you're watching this review, you know what a Mii is. It's basically an avatar you create that's like an effigy of yourself in the 3DS. For example, this is mine. And these are all the people I've met on the street. And you can use them, collect their Miis to play these two games, Puzzle Swap, Find Me. Puzzle Swap is just finding puzzles, it's not that interesting. Find Me is a bit more fun, it's like an RPG dungeon crawler kind of thing where you just fight bad guys. The catch is that if you meet the same person more than once, they gain a level and can eventually become way OP and just like beat everything in one hit. But yeah, that's Street Pass. As you can see up here in the corner, there are these little coins right here, as you can see, and the steps I've taken. So the 3DS has a built-in pedometer, which basically lets you, when the lid is closed, put in your pocket, you walk around. I don't know if you can hear that, but that's the pedometer. And for every 100 steps you take, you get a coin. And these play coins can be spent in the Street Pass to recruit heroes or get puzzle pieces, or in games like Resident Evil Revelations to buy guns or buy like upgrades, stuff like that. They're kind of gimmicky, but they can be useful in certain situations. Now, as for the cons of the 3DS, none of them really break the console and affect the experience too much, but they are notable enough to cause a couple gripes. Maybe consider them when you're buying the system. Now, first and foremost, the biggest flaw with the system is the battery life. If you set everything to the absolute lowest setting, brightness low, power saving mode on, which I'm not entirely sure what power saving does, but I think it lowers the contrast or something like that, you can get about roughly 5 hours of gameplay. Now, that is kinda iffy for a system like this. The original DS got like 12 hours of gameplay before it shut itself off. I'm not sure about that, so don't quote me, but I think I've gotten close to that. This, on average, if you're anywhere except a pitch dark room, you'll have to use at least 2 or 3, in which case you'll get probably 4.5 hours of gameplay. And if you're really outside, this screen is really glossy, reflects a lot of light, so you'll probably have to get about maybe 2-3 hours of gameplay if you max everything out, turn on wireless, all that. Now, I think Nintendo noticed the battery issue and lets you have a little quick switch which turns off wireless with a snap. Now, this is where the DS Lite power button was, but now it's where this thing is. Now, as you can see, my wireless is now disabled. Come on, focus. And with another flip of the switch, the light comes back on, and wireless is enabled again. Oh, my bad. Now, the problem with this switch is that it's so close up here while you're gaming, you could accidentally flip it sometimes. I've done it once. You kind of really have to be into the game and not thinking about it in order to flip it, but, it's happened. It's not that big a deal unless you're playing online or something. Yeah. Another gripe I have is the camera resolution. Now, these are 0.3 megapixel cameras, which are, frankly, really, really bad. Even low-end smartphones or phones nowadays have at least 2 or 3 megapixels up their sleeve to take decent pictures. These are probably webcam quality if you took a picture with them, so it won't be replacing your camera, even your phone, to take pictures. The only time you'd